Hey, what's going on, guys? It's me, Aiden, from Cartoon Apocalypse. Welcome back to Turner Tuesday. Now, this week and 2 weeks ago, this was a separated stream because we ran out of time on the first week, so we had to end up doing two parts of this one. We did the Whisperers. So I will be describing what the Whisperers are, what they do, and sort of we go over the 9 different ones, and then sort of their ranking at the end. So that's sort of the whole goal of these two streams was. As far as what we're going to be doing next week, we are going to be doing The King, Part 2. We're actually going to be describing his personality, what his ideals are, things like that, actually making his character instead of just his backstory and stuff like that. So that'll also be a very important stream. Time codes are down in the description below if you want to skip around, so you can go do that. So yeah, let's just go ahead and hop right into this video. So just as a generic recap, the Whisperers are people that serve the king, and they are basically, we have the Viceroys, I believe that's what they were called, the Viceroys and the Whisperers and the king. So that's the hierarchy. Does that make sense? So the Whisperers only answer to the king, and everybody else has to answer to the Whisperers, although most people don't know about the Whisperers. It's mostly just the Viceroys, and I don't remember the ones right below them, but they might also know about the Whisperers as well. This is sort of what they look like when they're out in, not necessarily public, but when they're with the Viceroys and just like supervising them. This is their form, sort of. These are just like things I found on the internet, so these are not the official design, but these are just sort of ideas to get in our head as to what they are, what to think of them as they look like. The Whisperers, there's one assigned to each island, and they will basically supervise the Viceroys whenever they see fit, and so they will just like every once in a while pop in, you know, check over the Viceroy, be like, what are you doing? Just looking over them, and if the Whisperer determines that the Viceroy is not doing something that they feel the king would approve of, they will be like, change it, here's what you gotta do, and the Viceroys have no choice but to listen because they're just that powerful and influential. So Yvette, and she's a dryad, and her magic ability is Earth Creation. Her weapon is a bow with spears like arrows that can be used in close range if necessary. Personality, she is shy, but she tries to hide it with an intense, rough look, sort of like a silent but deadly character. Also wearing a hood helps her a lot, but you'll see her wearing a hood 99% of the time. Backstory, Yvette was born from a giant yew tree. Most of her life is spent taking care of the tree. One day, Yvette felt something was hurting her, so when she returned to her tree, she saw some delinquents beating it up. Afraid, she tried to throw rocks at the delinquents to stay away from her tree. However, the delinquents used their magic powers to overpower her. At this time, Yvette unlocked her Earth Creation and cast that onto the delinquents. It wasn't enough. The delinquents continued until they got bored and walked away. As for the damage to the tree, soon it would wither to one of the delinquents' fire magic. During Yvette's death doors, an elf was going on a mission and found Yvette. Horrified, the elf has a special healing bottle and used it on Yvette. Yvette survived even after her tree had died. Yvette thanked the elf and learned that the elf was part of the elite knights. Wanting revenge on the delinquents, Yvette pleaded with the elf to teach her how to fight. The elf agreed, but taught Yvette not to use her power for revenge, but to help others. The elf taught Yvette general guard combat. He was also a master of the bow, so Yvette learned how to use a bow. Soon the elf enrolled her to a night school, so she had more time to learn about different things when the elf was away on missions. Once Yvette was a trained knight, the king noticed her abilities and her personality for keeping secrets. And once the elf passed away due to natural causes, the king reached out to Yvette, asking if she wanted to join the Whisperers, and she agreed to. Relation with the other Whisperers probably more disconnected. Other information, dryads are born from a tree, so they're born as orphans, although they see the tree as a parent and shelter. The tree size at the time will guarantee the dryad's height. If the tree is injured, the dryad will feel pain. If the tree dies, so will the dryad, although if lucky, they could survive with intense healing magic or some powerful healing. Because of these risks, dryads tend to be more shy and careful around other creatures except with their kind. Dryads can fall in love, but aren't capable of producing any offspring. Okay, Whisper number 2. Name, Solstice. Species, cat. Power magic ability, fire creation. Weapon, fire blades that can be thrown like claws. Personality, bubbly, cool, and funny, loves food, can be seen frequently at bakeries. Backstory, no backstory yet. Relation with the other Whisperers, life of the party. Other, each Whisperer could have their own emblem. That's not really related to her, but I do like the idea. I think the emblem fits better with the Knights, though. I think the Whisperers themselves should all look the same. Whisperer number 3, Von Friesta. Species, plant person. She's able to connect to other plants using roots to clue together what happened hours or even days before in the area. Power, magic ability is fire manipulator. She specializes in taking the heat from her surroundings. Some of her spells are taking heat from a lake to walk on it, continuously taking the heat from the surrounding air of her enemies as their body heat is transferred to the colder surrounding air. Vaughn effectively freezes them, using the stored heat to release immensely hot flames. Her flames are white. Weapon, she has no weapon, too edgy for a weapon. She has daggers hidden in her boots for emergencies. Okay, that's right, we did add daggers for her. Personality, Vaughn is often shy around people, but is confident in her magical abilities. Growing up, her entire existence revolved around how she could bring warmth to her village. This led to her self-worth being based on how her magical abilities could be useful to those around her, so she takes orders easily. She was born in a small village of other plant people in the frozen wastelands. Most of the people living in the village were born there, and she didn't have any money to leave. The village was so small that there weren't many visitors, and people rarely had babies. No one in the village was a fire user either, so everyone was hoping that Vaughn would be a fire creator. When she was very young, she made a flame appear in her hand, and her parents thought that she was a fire creator, but were disappointed and confused when they found out that she was just a fire manipulator. There was no fire around Vaughn when she was born, so if she were to be a fire user, she would have been a creator. And if she was not a creator, then she would not have been able to create a flame in her hand. The explanation for both of these is simple. She used her own body heat. She quickly learned how to transfer the heat from her body and the environment. When she was 13, she was on a journey to the nearest city with her father for supplies. The city was attacked by monsters, and Vaughn defended them by freezing them all. A higher-up in the army witnessed this and asked if she could go to the king's island and train to be a knight. Vaughn agreed to go as long as her village would get compensated with money. She hasn't seen her family since. Sad. Relationship with other witnesses. Whisperers, closest to Yuka. She doesn't intentionally ignore others, she's just quiet. Whisperer number 4, Nova, fairy. Space creation, although we're gonna make Nova be a space manipulator, so that way the king is sort of like the only known person with space creation. Weapon, brass knuckles or a giant sword. One of the earlier ones was a giant sword, so maybe we'll lean more towards the brass knuckles. Personality, the most extreme whisperer. She is afraid of being abandoned and losing everything she has built for herself. For enjoyment, she likes to sing and is very good at it. Her priorities are, number 1, the king and following all of his orders. Number 2, her job, similar to her first priority. She really cares about doing everything the king wants and tries to fulfill her every duty given. Mainly to prove to the other Whisperers that she can do just as good as them or even better, even though she is younger than them. Number 3, training to make sure she is ready for anything. Her backstory, she is the youngest of the Whisperers. She was an orphan until one of the knights noticed her fighting another orphan for taking her food, and she thought she had an exceptional fighting skill for someone her age, and brought it to the attention of the king. Relation with the other Whisperers, the others see her as a little kid. Yep. Whisperer number 5, name Ace, species polar bear person, that's new. Power, magic ability, water manipulation. Makes sense for a polar bear, it sounds like. Weapon, ice axe. Personality, cold and quiet, but can get loud around close friends. Backstory, not made yet. Relationships with other Whisperers, not made yet. Whisperer 6, name Yuka. Species, slime person, ooh, that's interesting. Has red and purple hair and can turn his body into a slime-like substance and then reform it again. Ends up naked a lot. Okay, if nobody has a problem with the chain, I think that's what we should do. But plus no one else has the Whisperer chain yet, I don't think. So, personality, thrill-seeking, wants to become the strongest Whisperer. Doesn't everyone? Doesn't care about the king's ideals, just wants to fight. Would be willing to help Luna and Nico when the other Whisperers aren't around in exchange for a fight. Likes to torment his viceroy. He could tie him up with the chain. Backstory: was left in the desert as a baby because his parents wanted a water creator instead of a manipulator. He has major daddy issues. Relation with the other Whisperers: likes to tease and flirt with the other Whisperers. Is a slime person that attractive? I don't know. I guess we would. It depends on the slime, maybe. Like if he could mold his face to look, because right now I just envision sort of like a droopy person. But if he could harden the slime and look like an everyday person that's just maybe like green or blue or something, then that would be more interesting. Whisperer number 7, Ceremonum. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Ceremonum, nickname Ceremo. I'm just gonna use Ceremo. Species, Leshy. Forest spirits. That's what a Leshy is. That's what we will use for now. Is a forest spirit. I don't know. I guess that just means that they will have some sort of extra ability since they're a forest spirit and not just like an elf or something. We can decide, or well, I guess we should probably read this first. Okay, power, earth manipulator. Weapon, wind and fire, wheels that can turn into dual blades. Okay, personality, Ceremo is colorblind. He can see color only if he puts effort into it, which is why he has no idea his top has a heart on it. When he asked Leyland if it was fine, Leyland said yes. Even if colorblind, when not too focused, he likes colorful things a lot and cute things to poke fun at people. He would be the type to send delivery to others just because he had a paycheck and had no idea what to do with his money. He has his reasons why he is loyal to the king. Ceremo and Leyland knew Blake back when they were all knights, but they lost touch. He adores violence, he knows it's wrong, so when he saw his when he saw his brother who loves things in order and always follows the rules, he had the idea to join the elite at any cost and train as hard so he could literally be as violent and legal at the same time. He doesn't abuse his power, but he is 100% the type that has no place for mercy because he can't wait to do some damage. Relationship with other Whisperers, Leyland is his brother. It would be fun if when on an island, Luna and Nico would have to sleep over at Ceremo's place, and they don't know he's a Whisperer. That could be interesting. Whisperer number 8, Lalan. Species, also a Leshy, because Lalan is Ceremonam's brother. Power, Earth Creator. Let's see. Earth Manipulator. So they're both Earth users. While in battle, Lalan won't create much and would rather be agile and reuse what he created. Weapon, Chakrams to throw. Another throwing one. Actually, we got rid of the throwing knives, but Vaughn could just use throwing knives, I guess. Personality. Lalan has no interest in anything similar to socializing, even if very capable. But he likes stupid people. Lalan enjoys being surrounded by idiots because he finds them wholesome or fun. He likes things in order. He would be the Whisperer who would fix the others' clothes if he sees them messy. Even the king, if he puts a paper down at an angle, he would put it straight. Your Highness, with my all respect, the painting on the 3rd floor in the right wing, it's supposed to be crooked. Is it not? Even so, it's painted on the wall. You can't. I straightened it. You what? I love that. That's great. I love this. I love Lalan so much. And here, I love this image too. It strikes fear into me. Like, I get scared looking at this. Backstory. Lalan joined to know if his brother is safe from afar because he likes things in order. Ceremo's brother. He is, and he's utterly loyal to the king, second to his brother. Whisperer number 9. Name, Zephyr. Species, dragon. Power is air manipulation. Have we had an air one? I don't know if we've had an air one yet. Weapon. Epic, big-toothed, great sword. Not gray sword. Great sword. Personality. He can be loud and brash, but always stays loyal to his king. He is even willing to give up his life for him. There will be times where his emotions would disagree with the king's order, but he will put them aside because he believes in the king's orders and he believes that they come first. and his own feelings shouldn't matter. I also see him being the oldest or second oldest of the Whisperers. Backstory not made yet. So, now's the fun part. This is the really good part. We get to decide which would go where. So I'm fine with these placements. This is fine for me. So go ahead and increase the size here so it's a little easier to read. There we go. Here's the placements. I think they should visit all the islands. I agree. I think there should be. It will seem we have to have a good reason for them visiting all the islands, though. I don't want it to just seem like they're visiting all the islands because they can, and because like in the story they should be visiting all the islands and whatnot. I think there should be a reason that they're visiting all of the islands. King quests and tests. That's right. So this is, I think, a good general ranking for right now, unless if anyone had any other suggestions, I'm open to change it. This is just a general, like, when we're thinking of basic power, and like if we were to put these two up against each other, which one would win? Right? That's sort of how the ranking works. Like, Ace, I think, would lose to almost everyone, unless if, like, they were in certain situations that would give them the advantage. But I think that's sort of what I was basing this off of. Who would win in a fight? And then popularity is just how the public views them. But anyway, guys, that's going to be it for this video. If you did enjoy, you can leave a like and subscribe for more content similar to this, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.